I saw the headless horseman gut my neighbor in half before anyone else even heard the scream. They said it was a bear attack. Said he was drunk, said he wandered into the woods near Route 9 and fell into a ditch. But I know what I saw. I was standing in my bedroom window, watching the night roll in like black smoke across the trees. I saw the hooves spark on pavement, the jack-o'-lantern head glow brighter than the porch lights. The blade, it wasn't clean, it dragged through bone. My neighbor's scream didn't even finish before the horseman rode on. No one believed me. They never do. But every Halloween, they come back. The monsters, the urban legends, the stories you whisper at sleepovers when you think your parents are asleep. They're real here, and I'm the only one who sees them. My name is Demi. I'm 18 years old. I live in a town that eats people. And tonight, I'm going hunting. 1998 Halloween night. A blood orange moon hung over Black Birch Hollow like a curse. The kind of moon that didn't feel accidental. The kind that felt summoned. The streets were packed. Kids with plastic axes in their heads, giggling witches tripping over their capes, glow sticks bouncing like heartbeats in the dark. From a distance, it looked like the perfect small-town Halloween postcard. Up close, it felt off, like something was waiting behind the grins and the porch lights. Demi pulled her hood tighter, her combat boots slapping softly against the cold pavement. Her backpack clinked with every step, packed with salt vials, iron nails, a water bottle full of holy water, a sharpened stake she stole from her dad's tool shed, and a compact mirror covered in blood smudges she didn't have time to clean. Another bad feeling? Gage asked, jogging to catch up, his Frankenstein mask pushed back on his head like a weird crown. Worse, Demi muttered. It's starting earlier this year. Cool. Should I be worried about, I don't know, vampires eating my spleen? Demi cracked a smile, which faded fast. Only if we're lucky. He handed her a mini Snickers. She took it and shoved it in her coat pocket. You're real chipper this year, Gage said, nudging her. You sure you're not just bitter Buffy's on hiatus? I'm sorry. Are you suggesting Buffy the Vampire Slayer isn't the greatest show of all time? You've seen it so many times, I think your stake's name is Angel. Demi smirked. Angel was a brooding crybaby. Spike's where it's at. God help us if you start bleaching your hair. God's not helping anyone in this town, Gage. She stopped walking. Across the street, just past a row of carved pumpkins flickering in sync, stood a boy. Except it wasn't a boy. His head was tilted too far, his eyes glowed white-hot like lit matches. His shadow moved before he did, and he held a balloon, not red but black, with something slithering inside it. Don't look, Demi said sharply. Gage froze, eyes wide. What is it? One of them. Which one? I don't know yet, but it's watching the kids. The thing turned too fast and vanished between two houses. Demi's breath fogged the air. She gritted her teeth. They're not hiding anymore. Demi's journal, entry 43, 10:13 p.m. It's not just ghosts or ghouls anymore. They evolve, they adapt. The stories feed them, fear makes them stronger. And tonight, the veil isn't thin, it's broken. The high school was empty, too empty. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like dying wasps. The hallway was stretched tight and long, lockers gaping open like mouths mid-scream. Someone had left a balloon tied to a locker handle, white, not black this time. but smeared with something reddish and wet. Demi's boots echoed as she walked toward the girls' bathroom. She could feel it before she saw it. The air was colder here, like the room was grieving. "Why here?" Gage asked, sticking close. "Why the school?" "Because this is where she was born," Demi said quietly. "Middle school sleepover. Someone dared someone. Third stall. 3 words. Gage paled. "You mean?" "Yeah, Bloody Mary." He stopped walking. "You're serious?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached into her backpack and pulled out a shard of mirrored glass, edges worn smooth from too many close calls. She gripped it like a blade. "Stay out here," she said. "No way." "Gage." She pushed the bathroom door open slowly. Creak. Inside, it was darker than it should have been. The overhead lights flickered like a broken strobe. The sinks were dry. The mirrors covered in handprints, some small, some not. The third stall door was shut. A single light swung above it, casting wild shadows. Demi stepped forward. The mirror above the sink was mostly clean, but something in her gut screamed, "Don't look." Too late. A flicker, a twitch, a woman, face pale as milk, long black hair slicked down her cheeks like wet funeral drapes, stood behind her in the reflection. But when Demi turned, no one. The stall door creaked open. Demi didn't flinch. She raised the mirror shard slowly. "I know your name," she whispered. "I know your curse." The bathroom filled with the sound of dripping water that wasn't there, a high-pitched giggle, the scent of dead flowers. Bloody Mary stepped from the mirror. Her eyes were hollow, her mouth stretched unnaturally wide, split at the corners. She reached forward, nails black, fingers jointed wrong like broken doll parts. Demi spun and slashed the mirror across the sink. Shattered shards flew like razors. The reflection screamed. Gage burst in, wide-eyed, holding a flashlight like a weapon. "What the hell?" Mary turned toward him. He saw her for the first time, and his scream stuck in his throat. Demi grabbed his wrist and pulled him back. "She's not fully out yet," Demi panted. "We need to leave, now." They ran. Behind them, the mirror flickered, once, twice, then went black. Demi's journal, entry 44/11:06 p.m. "She's not like the others. She doesn't want blood. She wants faces. She wants to replace someone. And I think she nearly chose Gage." The cornfield was breathing, not literally, of course, but Demi could feel it. The stalks shifted without wind, bending in slow, rhythmic waves like ribs inhaling and exhaling. And in the distance, someone was singing. A nursery rhyme, soft, warped, wrong. Round and round the jack-o'-lantern, shadows spin and scream. Find the bones before the dawn, or join the witch's dream. Miller's farm had been closed for years, ever since the Scarecrow fire. The official story was faulty wiring. Demi knew better. The Scarecrows had danced. "Okay, this is a hard no," Gage said, hugging himself. "Creepy, abandoned corn maze, literal haunted hayride. I saw Children of the Corn, thank you very much." Demi crouched low at the fence line, eyes narrowed. "They're using kids." "What?" She pointed. Ahead, 6 children, little ones dressed as skeletons, princesses, and werewolves, wandered through the maze, alone. No parents, no staff, just the singing. They're luring them in. Gage went pale. Witches? 3 of them, maybe 4. He looked at her. You sure you can do this? Demi pulled a lighter from her pocket. Her fingers were shaking. She hated witches more than any of them, because witches whispered, because witches remembered your name. I have to. Inside the cornfield, everything was muffled. The world fell away behind layers of rustling yellow and dried silk. The ground pulsed faintly beneath her boots, like something was buried just beneath the soil. Demi moved like a shadow, ducking under stalks, mirror in hand. She followed the humming. The path forked. To the left, giggling. To the right, a candle's faint flicker. She turned right. That's when she saw them. 3 witches circled a half-burned scarecrow, drawing symbols in the dirt. They didn't look old. One was maybe 20, with red hair and yellow teeth. Another was tall, with too many fingers and no eyes. The third floated, barefoot, her mouth stitched shut. Shadows curled around her like smoke. Demi crouched low behind a rotted crate. The scarecrow's head twitched. It was alive. She gasped, and the red-haired witch froze. Did you hear that? The girl hissed. The eyeless one sniffed the air. Hunter. Demi's stomach dropped. They could smell her. She didn't wait. She stood, raised the lighter, and flicked it on. Hey, witches, she called. Trick or treat. The stitched mouth one shrieked. The flame whooshed to life, then grew, rising like a bonfire. The scarecrow screamed. The witches lunged. Demi rolled, slashing her mirror across the tall one's wrist. No blood, just black smoke. The floating witch opened her mouth, threads splitting, and screamed so loud Demi's vision blurred. She shoved a silver cross into the dirt. Light erupted. The witches recoiled, howling. Demi! Gage's voice echoed from outside the maze. A small skeleton boy appeared beside her, crying. I want to go home, he whimpered. Demi grabbed his hand. Then run, don't stop. They burst out of the maze together. Gage was waiting at the edge, holding a fire extinguisher. Plan B, he said, spraying the flame behind her. The corn ignited, the witches wailed, and the singing finally stopped. Demi's journal, entry 45, 11:28 p.m. The witches are older than the town. They remember what we've forgotten. They don't just take children, they plant things in them. Billy's car was dead. The engine choked once, clicked, then gave up like a corpse exhaling its final breath. Come on, baby, don't do this to me now, he muttered, slapping the wheel. Fog rolled across the country road like spilled milk, thick and strange and glowing faintly orange under the blood moon. He was halfway between town and the ridge, no houses, just rustling woods and the distant croak of frogs that didn't sound quite right. He flicked on his hazard lights. They didn't blink. Then the radio came on, static, no music, just white noise and a faint giggle. Billy froze. Okay. Nope. He killed the engine. Again. Still nothing. The radio stayed on. A deep, whispering voice crawled through the static. You left your door unlocked, Billy. The passenger door clicked. Billy whipped around. Empty. He locked it, and then he saw it in the rearview mirror. A figure. Tall, thin, head tilted, no face, just a rusted, jagged hook glinting from one arm. It dragged slowly across the pavement behind the car. Billy's blood turned to ice. He didn't look back. He wouldn't look back. He grabbed the mirror and ripped it off the windshield. You can't see what isn't there, he whispered. You can't see what isn't. Scream. A long metallic scrape tore across the roof of the car. Billy screamed. Meanwhile, back in town, Demi felt it, the same way she always did, like a sharp pressure behind her eyes, like someone ringing a bell inside her brain. "Billy," she breathed, standing up so fast she knocked over the library chair. Gage looked up from the spellbook he definitely wasn't supposed to have. "What?" "He's in trouble. Hookman." Demi shoved holy water, silver coins, and the bone-handled dagger she kept hidden in her Doc Martens into her bag. "Let's go." By the time they reached the road, the fog was thick enough to choke. Billy was nowhere in sight. "Flashlights," Demi said. They flicked them on. There, drag marks in the gravel, and blood, a trail leading into the woods. Demi followed it, heart thudding. 10 feet in, she found the car. It was torn open like a can. The roof peeled back, a deep gash across the driver's side, but no body in sight. Then, a rustle, a moan. She found Billy strung up by the ankles between two trees, a jagged hook embedded in the bark beside him. He was alive, barely. Demi moved fast, cutting him down. "Billy, can you hear me?" He groaned. He was in the mirror. "I know. I didn't even see him. Not really. Just shadows and metal." Demi turned toward the trees. "Stay behind me." The Hookman stepped out of the fog. His face was stitched shut. The hook on his right arm gleamed with something fresh and red. He didn't walk, he drifted. Demi held up the mirror shard in one hand, the dagger in the other. "Come on then," she said. "Let's see if urban legends bleed." Demi's journal, entry 46, 11:41 p.m. The Hookman doesn't kill you with the hook. He kills you with guilt. You see your worst regret, and it opens the door. Billy saw something he's not telling us. The Halloween parade marched on like nothing was wrong. Marching bands, kids in polyester costumes, a tractor dragging a trailer full of hay and apple cider jugs. Parents waved, teens laughed. No one noticed the fog that had begun to slither between their ankles like a silent warning. Demi noticed. From the rooftop of the town bookstore, she scanned the crowd through a pair of cracked binoculars. "They're here," she whispered. Gage stood beside her, holding a Molotov cocktail like a nervous waiter. "How many this time?" Demi's voice dropped. "2, the headless ones." He blinked. "Wait, you mean the horseman and—" Jack. A jack-o'-lantern burned to life on the street below. Not a prop, a head, and beneath it, Jack's body, twitching and crawling out of the sewer, twisted and wrong, his fingers like scorched roots. The horseman came next, thundering hooves on pavement. No one heard it at first, just a soft vibration underfoot. Then the crowd parted, slowly, too slowly. Clip-clop, clip-clop. A horse made of smoke, a blade forged from fire, and no head, just a flickering void where a face should be. Demi jumped from the rooftop, landing hard in an alley behind the parade route. She had silver bullets, mirror shards, salt bombs, but it wouldn't be enough. The horseman swung wide, his blade slicing through a candy stand. Jack hissed, his grin widening, smoke pouring from his eyes. "This is not a drill," Demi shouted, pushing through the crowd. "Run!" No one listened until a man's head hit the pavement like a dropped watermelon. Then, chaos, screams, people trampling each other, a child sobbing into a Halloween mask, confetti fluttering like ash. Billy and Acadia came running from the other side, eyes wide. "What the hell is that?" Acadia shrieked, pointing at Jack as he clawed his way up a light pole. "Welcome to my after-school job," Demi muttered, pulling out her silver slingshot. "Duck." She fired. The silver bullet slammed into Jack's chest, and he exploded, a fireball of wax and cinders. His laughter echoed as smoke filled the air. The horseman reared back, his blade catching fire, aiming for Gage. "No!" Demi screamed. She threw herself in front of him, raising the mirror shard. The horseman saw himself, headless, soulless. For a second, he faltered. Then he vanished, just smoke. The silence that followed was unnatural. The crowd was gone. Blood stained the sidewalk. A carnival float burned in the distance. Demi stood there, shaking, smoke curling from her sleeves. Acadia looked at her like she was seeing her for the first time. "What are you?" she whispered. Demi didn't answer. Demi's journal, entry 47:11:53 p.m. The headless ones are older than Halloween, older than death. You can't kill them. You can only remind them what they've lost. The cemetery didn't creak. It hummed, not with noise, but with something colder, older, like the stones were holding their breath. Fog hugged the ground, thicker than ever, curling around the tombstones like it knew where to go. Demi stood at the edge of the wrought iron gate, alone. Her stake was warm in her palm. Her breath fogged the air. The moon above wasn't red anymore. It was bleeding, dripping light across the crypts like a warning. "Why'd it have to be vampires?" she whispered to herself, stepping into the dark. The others had begged her not to come alone, but this was her fight. They couldn't see what she saw. Not yet. The cemetery path twisted like a question mark. Demi followed it past statues with missing heads, urns cracked open like broken eggs, and then she heard it. A voice, small, childlike. "Do you remember me?" She turned fast. A little girl stood between two graves, her dress torn, her face pale. Her eyes were black holes, and her smile dripped blood. "Vampire," Demi muttered. The girl stepped forward. "You're strong, but you're getting tired." "Don't test me, Dracula Jr." The girl's grin widened. "You're not like the others, Demi. You're already halfway gone." Demi didn't flinch. "I'm not scared of you." "You should be," the girl said softly, "because I'm not alone." From the crypts they rose, 3 of them, elegant, tall, skin like marble veined with shadow, mouths full of teeth that didn't stop. One of them wore a suit, the other a tattered prom dress, the third no face at all. They closed in. Demi backed up slowly, gripping the dagger with shaking hands. "I really should have brought Gage," she muttered. The girl lunged first. Demi ducked, rolled, drove the stake into her side. Not the heart, not enough. She screamed and melted into mist. Then the others came. Demi fought hard, blade slashing, stake driving, holy water burning skin. One vampire shrieked and combusted. Another bit her arm, but she twisted free, shoving a cross between his ribs. Then the third one, silent, wrapped around her like fog, and bit. Demi screamed. The world pulsed. Her heartbeat stuttered. Her vision went red. She staggered, drove the mirror shard into his throat, and he disintegrated into black ash. She collapsed beside the crypt, panting. Her arm bled slow and dark. But her eyes, they burned. Demi's journal. Entry 48:12:01 a.m. I missed midnight. I didn't kill them all. The moon hasn't gone back. And now... The pumpkin patch had always been Black Birch Hollow's pride and joy. Every October, it lit up with glowing jack-o'-lanterns, hay rides, cider carts, and little kids in dinosaur onesies. It was safe, familiar. Not tonight. Tonight the fog was thicker here. The jack-o'-lanterns didn't flicker, they smoldered, and something was breathing beneath the vines. Acadia stood near the tractor, arms crossed. Okay, but explain to me again why we're meeting Demi in the middle of a murder maze. Because she told us to, Billy said, clutching a crowbar like it would protect his soul. She also said witches, a Hookman, and literal vampires were real, so I'm thinking she might have lost her mind. Then came the sound. Shlt. A sharp dragging through soil, like metal on bone. Billy spun. Did you hear that? I live in denial. I didn't hear anything. The fog parted. A scarecrow stood 20 feet ahead. Only, it wasn't straw. It had skin, blackened, sewn together with rusted wire. Its face was carved into a permanent grin, with candlelight leaking from its eye sockets. It moved. Acadia whispered, "Oh my God." Then another appeared, and another, 6 in total, all watching, grinning, tilting their heads in perfect sync. Billy dropped the crowbar. That's when Demi appeared, out of the smoke, limping, eyes glowing faintly red. One arm bandaged, her jacket torn and blood-streaked. "Move!" she screamed. She threw a salt bomb, and the first scarecrow exploded, not in flame, but in shrieking mist. "What the hell is happening?" Acadia screamed, grabbing a pitchfork off a haystack. "They're called the Hollowed Ones," Demi panted. "Scarecrow spirits. They feed on disbelief. The more you pretend they're not real, the more they grow." Billy's voice shook. "I see them." "I know," Demi said. "Midnight passed. The veil's gone." Acadia stared at Demi's eyes. "What's wrong with you?" Demi looked away. "I was bitten. I'm not turning. Not yet, but I can hear them now. All of them." Another scarecrow charged. Billy swung the crowbar. Too slow. Demi tackled it midair, driving a silver knife between its ribs. It convulsed and melted into ash. Acadia backed up slowly. "You're one of them now?" "I'm still me," Demi said, trembling. "But for how long?" Behind them, the jack-o'-lanterns burst, one by one. Flames lit the sky. Fog turned black, and from the far edge of the field a scream rose, one so inhuman it bent the air around it. Gage's voice crackled over the walkie. "They're everywhere. The town's under siege." Billy turned to Demi. "What do we do?" She didn't blink. "We hunt." Demi's journal, entry 49, 12:22 a.m. "They finally see what I see, but it's too late to run. The town is overrun. The veil is gone. The blood moon isn't fading, and I'm not sure I am either." The town was dying. Main Street burned. Fog rolled in waves thick enough to drown in. Storefronts shattered. Windows exploded from within. People ran screaming through the chaos. Some chased, some possessed. The air tasted like ash and metal. The streetlights flickered, buzzing like hornets. And above it all, the blood-orange moon still hung, brighter than ever. Demi stood in the center of it all, coat flapping in the wind, hands bloodied and burned. Her eyes glowed faintly red now, not full vampire, not human either. "I think we're past the point of subtle," she muttered. Behind her, Billy, Acadia, and Gage held their weapons like survivors, not heroes. "Any last plan?" Billy asked. "Yeah," Demi said, breathless. "We kill them, all of them, before the clock hits 1 o'clock. "Wait, I thought it was midnight?" It was, but the moon didn't vanish. That means something changed. Acadia's voice cracked. What does that mean? It means there's still time, but not much. A church bell rang once in the distance, deep and hollow. That's when the monsters came. From every alley, from under manhole covers, from rooftops. They poured in like a wave of nightmares. Faceless things, grinning things, stitched together things, monsters born from every childhood whisperer. The broad-shouldered man, the girl with no feet, the bleeding clown, the banshee sisters, the one that just giggles. Demi raised her dagger, her voice steady. Time to earn the title. She charged. The battle was chaos, fire against fog, silver against shadow. Acadia unleashed a salt trap that vaporized a crawling skinwalker. Gage screamed something in Latin and threw holy water like a grenade. Billy bashed a corpse puppet with a tire iron until it stopped twitching. And Demi? She burned. Every strike she made was faster, sharper. The vampiric bite inside her gave her reflexes she shouldn't have. She heard their thoughts. She smelled their blood. She liked it. This is what they want, a voice whispered inside her. You're the perfect hunter, because you're becoming one of them. Shut up, she growled, driving her stake through the chest of a shrieking ghoul. She turned to Gage. The moon. We have to stop the moon. Gage, panting and bleeding, pointed to the town clock tower. It's the source. The monsters are circling it, like it's feeding them. Then we climb. The 4 teens bolted through collapsing streets, leapt over burning cars, ducked creatures reaching through cracks in reality. They climbed the tower stairs 2 at a time, panting, choking on smoke. At the top, the bell glowed orange, the same color as the moon. A figure waited there. A man, pale, tall, wearing a black hood and a mask made of melted jack-o'-lanterns. He turned. Demi, he hissed. You were meant to join us, to lead them. Not happening. He raised one hand and the fog thickened into claws. Demi threw her stake straight through his chest. He didn't scream, he just cracked like porcelain. His body split open into smoke and the bell shattered. Outside, the monsters screamed, the moon flickered, and the fog began to pull back. They'd done it. Demi fell to her knees, gasping. Gage grabbed her arm. It's over. But it wasn't, because above them, the moon stopped flickering and smiled. Demi's journal, final entry before the end. We won the battle. But not the war. The monsters are gone, for now, but I can still hear them inside me. One of them bit me, and now I can smell fear. The town is safe. But I'm not. The fire trucks arrived at dawn. Smoke still curled through the streets. The jack-o'-lanterns were all gone, melted down to blackened stumps. Most of the town didn't remember what happened. They talked about a gas leak, mass hallucination, too much candy. But the survivors knew better. They remembered the monsters. And so did Demi. She sat on the roof of her house, knees pulled to her chest, a blood-soaked bandage wrapped tight around her neck. The bite hadn't healed, not completely, and the worst part, it didn't hurt anymore. I don't think it's over, Gage said softly behind her. She didn't turn. It's not. He stepped beside her, offering a thermos. Hot chocolate, no holy water this time. She cracked the smallest smile. Below, Black Birch Hollow began to wake. Parents walked dogs. Kids rode bikes. The sun was pale and cold. The blood moon was gone. but a faint stain remained in the sky like it had burned itself into the atmosphere. Billy and Acadia sat on the front steps. Their clothes were still scorched. Their eyes were still wide. They were different now, changed. They'd seen it, survived it. "We're not just kids anymore, are we?" Demi asked. "No," Gage said. "We're something else." Demi stood slowly, watching the sun climb higher. Her shadow stretched long across the roof. "I'm changing." "I know. I can smell things, hear things. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten." "Have you told them?" She shook her head. "They don't need to know. Not yet." He hesitated. "Are you scared?" Demi looked down at her hands. "No, that's what scares me." That night, when the town went quiet again, Demi opened the trapdoor to the attic. She hadn't gone up there in years, not since she was a kid. She pulled out the old trunk, opened it. Inside, stakes, salt, silver, crosses, maps, a list of names, monsters she'd never faced, creatures only mentioned in whispers. And one note. "They only come when the blood moon rises, but some never leave." She added her own name to the list, not because she was hunting herself, but because she might have to. Epilogue, journal entry, red ink. "The bite didn't kill me. It made me something new. I can see them now, even during the day. I can hear them breathing under floorboards. I can feel them waiting in the trees. The town thinks Halloween is over, but the monsters don't wait for next year. They wait for me."